Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Rolene Marks, and every day we are extremely proud to bring you news directly from Israel. And before we get into the news headlines, we at Lay of the Land would like to just check in with you, see how you're doing, see if you're okay. We want you to know that we're all in this together, and through these very uncertain times where many of us are feeling vulnerable, we just want to say that we are here for you and that you are not alone. And at this outset, we would also like to thank medical professionals and support staff around the world who are working around the clock at extreme pressure to make sure that we are all healthy and doing everything that they can to help fight COVID-19. So without further ado, let's take a look at the top stories making news in Israel. And once again, the coronavirus dominates, and the figures are as follows today. There are 304 active cases of coronavirus in Israel. There are 5 of those who are severely infected, 11 who are moderately infected, and the rest are lightly infected, and 5 people have recovered. And I think the recovery stats are also very important stats to report. In the West Bank, under the Palestinian Authority, there are 41 active cases of coronavirus, and in the Gaza Strip it remains at 0 cases of coronavirus. Last night, Prime Minister Netanyahu, the Health Minister and the Finance Minister introduced further restrictions, and while they were a lot milder than we were expecting, they are as follows. The amount of people working in the public and private sector has been reduced to basically essential staff, and anybody else needs to work from home. They're trying to avoid as many people in a closed space as possible. The Prime Minister reminded us that we have to keep at least 2 meters distance and no more than 10 people at a gathering at a time. And he also mentioned that there will be more restrictions on public transport, but no more restrictions basically on how we come and go from our homes. At the moment, Israel is on partial lockdown, and many people are opting to really only leave their apartments, leave their homes to go to the supermarket or to go to the pharmacy or maybe to run an errand or two, but are rather being very responsible and staying inside so as not to spread the virus. And the Prime Minister also ended on a positive note. He spoke about the incredible spirit of Israelis. He spoke about how young people are volunteering to babysit kids they haven't met, to take the pressure off their families. He spoke about the fact that young people have offered to pick up groceries or post letters or do anything that they can do to help. And I just want to touch on the indomitable, it seems the cat got my tongue, the incredible spirit and resilience of Israelis. On the Highway 6 today, a big sign was put up saying, thank you to our medical professionals, you are heroes. And there has been an appeal put out for all Israelis to stand on their balconies at 6 o'clock on Thursday evening and give our medical professionals a round of applause, bringing such tears to my eyes and such a lump of absolute pride. Israelis, much like our Italian and Spanish cousins, have been taking to their balconies to sing songs of solidarity and that we will be okay. And this comes at a time when there is tremendous pressure. Israel has basically declared war on the coronavirus, and a little bit of controversy yesterday when it was announced that we will be monitoring the phones of anybody who has tested positive for coronavirus. And while there was a lot of discussion around that, the Prime Minister reiterated last night that it will be happening within the law. The Attorney General has okayed it, and the Prime Minister also warned that anybody who breaks quarantine or self-isolates without reporting into the Health Ministry will face severe penalties. So that's where we're standing currently on COVID-19, and it is our hope that we flatten the curve, not just here in Israel, but around the world, so that we can start getting back to some kind of normality. In other news, yesterday, President Rivlin tasked Benny Gantz, the leader of the Blue and White, to form a government. And Gantz, in his comments to the president, said that he wants a government that represents all the people, and that right now we need to put aside politics to focus on how we're going to deal with the biggest threat that we face, which is COVID-19. But he also reminded the president that we faced worse threats before, and we've come through as a country united. And eerie scenes of the president swearing in the Knesset, and this had to be done in batches of 3. And I think it's an image for the ages of President Rivlin speaking to basically an empty room, save for 3 people. And we really hope that our unity government is formed very soon, or at least within the next 28 days, and that everything is done to possibly avoid a 4th election. Now, while COVID-19 dominates world headlines, one thing that it does bring with it is an escalation in anti-Semitism. And human rights icon and former Soviet prisoner of conscience and the former head of the Jewish Agency, Natan Sharansky, has addressed this issue. We've seen on social media that people are blaming the Jews for COVID-19. Some horrendous tweets I saw yesterday saying, perhaps Israel, if we have the injection against it, perhaps we need to start with our own citizens and put an end to Zionism for once and for all. And while it's not news or nothing new that Jews are blamed for the ills or for disease in the world, it is, of course, extremely worrying, and we ask everybody out there to be extra vigilant, and also to, while you're in your homes, to take a stand and rather spread compassion and kindness, and not allow for this other disease, this other virus of anti-Semitism to spread so virulently. And while you're home and looking for something to read, you can check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. You can read my latest article on Israel's war against the coronavirus. So pour yourself a quarantini. It's just like a martini, except you drink it by yourself. And read my article. You can also check out our latest content on Facebook. And our community is growing, and because we're all in this together, why don't you give us a like or a follow? And don't forget that we're on YouTube as well at the Israel Brief. Click on the subscribe button and help get Israel's news out to the world. So wishing you all good physical health, good mental health. Once again, a massive thank you to everybody in the medical fraternity for everything that you are doing. And from us all here at Lay of the Land and the Israel Brief, I'm Rolene Marks.